Namo Phat, good morning. Thank you for joining me for our daily practice check-in. Listen, listen, listen. This beautiful sound calls us back to our true home. The second mindfulness training. Aware of the suffering caused by exploitation, social injustice, stealing, and oppression, I vow to cultivate loving kindness and learn ways to work for the well-being of people, animals, plants, and minerals. I will practice generosity by sharing my time, energy, and material resources with those in real need. I'm determined not to steal and not to possess anything that should belong to others. I will respect the property of others, but I will prevent others from profiting from human suffering or the suffering of other species on earth. Our Dharma lesson today is on self-hatred and righteous anger by Ajahn Thiradhammo from his book, Working with the Five Hindrances. Two modifications of ill will which are quite prominent these days are self-hatred and righteous anger. Self-hatred is internalized ill will, which, while socially less reprehensible, is still not very skillful. Like self-doubt and its shadow, narcissism, it is gained in prominence with the increase in the promotion of self-image and excessive thinking about self. However, this can be destructive and may lead to tragic consequences. Its dynamic is quite absurd. There is one sense of self, which hates another sense of self. How did this come about? We all have aspects of our relative self which we are not proud of and maybe even dislike. Who loves their hindrances? However, some people have a very harsh inner critic, which often has a familiar voice: parent, sibling, teacher, spouse. Self-hate can also be a fairly complex interaction of guilt, blame, recrimination, etc. between the various selves. Righteous anger is a somewhat difficult emotion, since it appears to be a good thing or even virtuous. However, even though there is a rightness about it, anger is not a skillful mental state. Just see how it feels, or how it affects your actions and speech. We have some perception of injustice or unrighteous behavior and feel a noble sense that something must be done about it. The anger arises because what we perceive is repulsive to us. However, are our perceptions correct? Does this trigger some hurt within us? Is it fueled by frustration? When the Dalai Lama was asked at a conference of Buddhist teachers, what can we do about the situation in Tibet? He surprisingly but very wisely said, keep informed. Too often we receive a snippet of well-polished propaganda which ignites passionate indignation to such a degree that it clouds wise reflection. Coming across a righteous fool is very disorienting. You don't know whether to have compassion for them or their cause. It is indeed good to support what is right, but bringing in anger can often make it wrong. May all beings be well. May all beings be happy. May all beings be peaceful. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you for joining me this morning.